So here's how basically when we're talking about exposure, this is how we might graph it out. So if we have distress, we're in an anxious situation and we spike. We're like, holy crap, I'm really nervous, pardon my language. And then we avoid, and then boom, it goes right down. That's why avoidance is so awesome. It works just great because we immediately experience no anxiety. Life is great. Here's what's supposed to happen with exposure is that I do it and I stay anxious for a period of time and then it slowly goes down. Now, does it go down as far as the avoidance one? No, it doesn't. But maybe if I do it across multiple trials, two things we're looking at. One thing we're looking at here is that the peak is not as high across the three, right? So the blue line, the peak is pretty low. It doesn't go up quite as high. It still goes up. We also have the time during which we're anxious is longer the first time, shorter the second time, and shorter. It's still there. And then the time to lowered anxiety is shorter or faster the further on we do it. And you could keep doing this over and over again. You might feel comfortable after that third exposure. You think, that's pretty good. Let's do this a couple more times. And if we stay in that blue range, we're ready to move to the next one. Because maybe that's as good as it's going to be for this individual person. And that's where knowing the individual person is going to be really important and helpful. Is that not everyone is going to be able to go to zero anxiety. And in fact, that might not even be a reasonable goal. And in some ways, that's earlier when we were talking about David Barlow, mentioning him and the history. That's one of the things that he has really been writing about is how the goal in some ways for exposure might not only be or primarily be habituation or extinction, but might also be learning that you can hold or tolerate a high degree of anxiety. And then if you just wait it out, it goes away. So part of what we try to do when we do exposure is we start low and we go slow. So we always want to start low. We don't want to jump too far up the fear ladder because we always feel like we're flying without a lot of instruments, or we feel like we don't have a lot of guidance. It's like we're building the plane a little bit as it's taking off. And so I guess I'm using a lot of airplane metaphors. But we don't exactly know what's going to make the kid super nervous because we have a fear ladder. We built it with the caregiver and the kid, but we are like, the kid was a little fuzzy about things. They kind of just said maybe a lot. And so we don't know what it's going to be like. So we'd much rather start low and go slow because what we really are going for is early success. We want the first few exposures to work. We want the kid to be a little bit nervous and for him or her or them to see that the anxiety level goes down.